Hi everyone, today we're going to make these strawberry cake donuts. We'll be using my strawberry cake recipe, which doesn't have any artificial strawberries in it. In fact, we'll be making our own strawberry puree, which you can make by using fresh or frozen strawberries. We'll be adding that fresh strawberry flavor to my golden butter cake and baking it in a large donut pan. I'll also show you how to make a super easy vanilla glaze that you can top your donuts with, or you can use as a canvas for decorations. I'm Adriana, and if you enjoy learning from in-depth baking tutorials, go ahead and join me by subscribing. And if you'd like to follow along with this recipe, it's located on my blog, Tasty Pastry Kitchen. Now let's make some strawberry donuts. The best strawberry cake comes from homemade strawberry puree, which you can make using fresh or frozen strawberries. Cut 1 pound of strawberries in half and add them to a medium saucepan. If you're using frozen strawberries, just go ahead and add them whole and they'll break apart when they cook. Then add your half cup of sugar and turn your heat on to medium-low. Give your strawberries a good stir to make sure that they're mixed thoroughly with the sugar, and as the heat increases, they'll slowly start to release their juices. But if you see that they're not releasing it quite quick enough and maybe it's starting to kind of stick to the bottom, go ahead and grab a potato masher and slowly crush your strawberries. Increase your heat to medium and let this simmer for about 10 minutes using your potato masher to crush the strawberries every now and then. As the water evaporates, you'll soon notice that the strawberry puree will get thicker. Just continue mashing with the potato masher and use a spatula every now and then to scrape the solids off of the bottom of the pan. So you can customize this process for whatever recipe you're using the strawberries for. So if you're making like a strawberry sauce for sundaes, you probably want to make the sauce a little bit runny. But since we're using this in our strawberry cake, which already has a lot of moisture, and we just want the strawberry flavor, we want this to be really thick. And by the end of this process, you will have about a cup of really thick strawberry puree. You'll know that it's done if you take your spatula and scrape the bottom of the pan and notice a lot of strawberry solids sticking. What this means is that the water has mostly been evaporated, and so the strawberry solids are sticking to the pan because that's what's left. And that's what we want and what's going to give us that really thick and flavorful strawberry puree. Like I said before, this should give you about 1 cup of puree. So what I like to do is set aside the portion that I need for the cake, set that aside to cool, and then put the rest in a jar to use for later. Alright, let's get ready to make our strawberry cake. So take some of that strawberry puree and then add it to your room temperature milk along with the sour cream. We're going to mix this pretty thoroughly as we don't want any sour cream lumps in our cake later on. So mix it pretty thoroughly. If you have any trouble with any lumps with the sour cream, what I do is just put this in the microwave for about 10 seconds and then stir it really well until everything's really well mixed. Go ahead and add your butter to the bowl of a stand mixer that's been fitted with a paddle attachment. Mix the butter on medium speed until it's really soft and creamy and has the consistency of mayonnaise. Then add your granulated sugar and vanilla extract and beat that for about 3 to 5 minutes until it's really fluffy but a little bit sandy, because most of it's actually made out of sugar, so it's not going to be incredibly fluffy, but it should be fully incorporated. And while that's going on, I like to prepare my dry ingredients. So to a small mixing bowl, go ahead and add your flour and then add your baking powder and salt. Give that a whisk for at least 30 seconds to make sure that you distribute the baking soda evenly. While the mixture is still running, we'll go ahead and add the canola oil and let that run for another 2 minutes. And what we'll notice is that the fat sugar mixture will become lighter in texture and whiter in color. Now we'll go ahead and add the egg yolks one at a time on low speed. So what we'll do is add 1 yolk and then let the mixer run and completely mix in that yolk on low speed, and then add the next yolk and continue until all of the yolks are mixed in. We'll now do the same thing with the whole egg, so we'll mix in 1 whole egg first, let that mix in on low speed, making sure that everything has been mixed in, and then add the second egg. And remember, when we're making cakes, we always want to scrape the bowl because that ensures that everything that we put into the bowl has been mixed together thoroughly before we add the next ingredient. Okay, so now we're going to alternate the dry and the wet ingredients. So we're going to start with dry and end with dry. So give our dry ingredients a good whisk to ensure everything's been mixed in. Then pour a little more than half of this mixture into the batter. Then you're going to mix this on low speed, and notice how at the end I still have some flour left on the side of my bowl. That's fine, because we're going to take the spatula and scrape down the sides and the bottom of the bowl to make sure all of the flour has been mixed into the batter. Now we're gonna add half of our strawberry milk sour cream mixture. So pour half of that in and then mix it again on low speed, and then take your spatula and scrape around to make sure that everything has been mixed in. Now we're going to add in our flour mixture again. So add in half of whatever's left in the bowl. And again, we're gonna mix that on low speed and then stop the mixer and use our spatula to scrape everything down. Take the last half of your strawberry sour cream milk mixture and then add that into the batter and mix that on low speed, and then take your spatula and scrape around the bowl again. And the very last addition is the rest of that flour. So go ahead, pour that in, mix that on low speed, and then stop the mixer and then scrape everything off using the spatula. The next thing that we're going to do is prepare to pour the batter into the donut pan. The easiest way I found to do this is by using a piping bag, or you can use a Ziploc bag. And what you do is just pour the batter into the bag. And because this is an oil-based cake batter, so it's a bit more runny than like a fluffy butter-based one, it kind of drips all over the place. So what I do is I use binder clips to clip the top of the bag as well as the bottom where the batter actually comes out, and that kind of helps with the mess. Spray your donut pan with some nonstick cooking spray, and I like to do this over the sink so that you don't make a mess. Then cut the tip off of your piping bag and go ahead and start adding your batter. This is like a cupcake pan, so you kind of don't want to overfill it. Plus, if you overfill it, you won't get that, distinctive donut hole in the middle. It'll just kind of grow over it. So you want to fill the cavities about 3/4 full. Bake these in an oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees for about 17 to 20 minutes. You'll know they're done when they're kind of springy to the touch, but you can also use a toothpick test where you stick a toothpick in the middle of the cake and there should be little to no crumbs attached. Let these cool in the pan for about 5 minutes before flipping them out, and all you have to do is turn the pan upside down and give it a little shake and they should just fall out. So with these metal donut pans, you have to rinse them in between use, because the old cake that was stuck from the older donut, when it gets on the new batter, it'll turn black and make your newly baked donuts really ugly. So just make sure that you wash your donut pan in between use. Once your donuts have completely cooled, let's get ready to make your donut glaze. Take some powdered sugar and sift it into a large mixing bowl. Add your heavy cream and give it a good whisk. You'll notice that it's a really thick glaze, but as you keep whisking it, if you notice that the glaze doesn't loosen up slightly enough to where you could dip a donut in it, go ahead and just add a touch more of the heavy cream. Then add your flavoring, and I'm just going to do some vanilla here and a little bit of almond. Alright, let's get ready to decorate our donuts. And today I have some freeze-dried strawberries and some strawberry Callebaut Crispearls, which are just little white chocolate strawberry flavored crunchy pearls. Now, if you take one of your donuts, you'll notice that it has two sides. It has the one side that was pressed up against the pan, and that's kind of the darker colored side. And then you have the lighter colored side that was exposed to the surface. So you want to decorate the side that was on the bottom of the pan. So what you do is just take that part and push it into the glaze and kind of twist around, because that's going to coat the glaze on the surface of the donut. Kind of wiggle and pull the donut up. And then if you shake it a little bit, what the glaze will do is kind of settle all over the donut so that you get a really clean glaze. And while the glaze is still wet, that's when you want to decorate it. So I'm just going to take some of the freeze-dried strawberries and kind of sprinkle them on the side, as well as sprinkle some of the Callebaut Crispearls. This glaze takes about a half an hour to an hour to completely harden. Even after they dry, the icing is still kind of soft underneath, and so I don't really suggest stacking them like what I'm going to do later on in the video. If for some reason you do need a really hard surface on your donuts, I highly suggest just using melted chocolate. So here are your finished strawberry cake donuts. It's super moist butter cake that's been flavored with the freshest of strawberries and topped with that crispy vanilla glaze. This full recipe with the ingredient amounts and instructions are available on my website, Tasty Pastry Kitchen. Thanks for watching and have a great day.